Hi friends, let's see the app we are going to develop in the next couple of lessons. When you run this app, this is the main option screen. You will see a menu which is on a table view. So I can click on say employee options, then it will load this data, and all the employee data are loaded dynamically from a data source, right? And then I can click on employee, and then it's dynamically changing this page with that particular employee and the projects. If I go back and click another employee, you can see the same page is dynamically changing with that employee and the projects, which are all loaded dynamically. The images are also loaded dynamically from a data source, right? So it's different images loaded dynamically. And then I can delete employees. Let's say I can swipe and say delete, then it deletes the data, right? If not, I can click on edit and say if I want to delete something, click on this and click delete, right? And when I'm done, I can say done, right? And then further I can insert data dynamically. Let us say a section P and say Peter, for example, and click OK. So it all gets added dynamically, right? Then once I'm done with employees, I can go scroll down, right? And then I can go into department options, right? So department, and do the same thing for department, right? But it's very important that you have to make sure to look at the next couple of lectures in this on table views, that is part 1, 2, 3, etc., until we complete this app. It explains all the theory and the practical knowledge which you need to know about developing this app, right? Okay friends, we are very excited to show you how to develop this app practically, and let's do it now. Okay friends, so the following is the outcome of this part of the lesson. When you complete this part of the lesson, your app will look like this. Until you complete the other parts of the lesson, it will be able to put the employees into sections, right? So it's a list of employees loaded dynamically, right? And now you are able to categorize them into sections, right? Which is very important for you to the next part, right? But after you complete this lesson, you make sure to go and look at the next lessons in order to complete the full app demonstrated earlier, right? Now when it comes to this part, right? That means when it comes to cell for row at index part, right? Now when it comes to displaying the text, I have to specify for the array. In terms of the array, I have to specify the rows and the columns. In terms of the table view, it's the sections and the rows. So if you look at arrays viewpoint, these are rows, then these are columns. But the same data, when I'm applying to the table view, these are sections, then these will go into rows. You have to clearly understand that. So anyhow, when I'm giving the text for each cell, I have to give the exact section number and the row number. If it's the array, it's the row number and the column number. But if it's table view, it's section number and then the row number. Which means when I'm giving the data to the text, I will have to give two dimensions. First, I have to give the section. Then I can retrieve it from the index path. Right? That's the parameter I have to use. Then the row. So I can give the section number and the row number, so it correctly knows. Okay. Let me speak it this way. It's section 1, row 1. Section 1, row 2. Section 2, row 1. Section 2, row 2. Section 2, row 3. Section 3, row 1. Section 3, row 2. But indexes are 0 based. So because of that, when I'm using the index, I have to say section 0, row 0. Section 0, row 1. Section 1, row 0. Section 1, row 1. Section 1, row 2. Then section 2, row 0. Section 2, row 1. I just told it, but it's dynamically figured out when I give the section number and the row number from the array list of employee names. I know it's a bit difficult for you to understand, but then same, I have to access the images because I have given the images also into a two-dimensional array, my friends, right? Okay, right? So we did some changes and let's run and see what's happening now, right? So I know it's a little bit difficult for you to understand at once. So my advice is listen to what I said a couple of times again and again, going back, right? Okay. Now, what earlier it was 21 items, but now again I can see 7 items. But the thing is, if you remember, even when I had that 21 items, when I said 3 sections, one thing important was it didn't have the section headers. Now this is interesting. Let me show you one thing by quickly undoing what I did, right? I will show you something very important so that it makes things very clear for you. So let me undo this, what I did, right? And let me undo and do it again with something very interesting for you, right? So give me a second, right? Okay, friends, so I undo it back, and when I run, this is where we were originally, right? So I'm back to 0 now. So I don't have a multi-dimensional array here. I don't have a multi-dimensional array here. Now I'm going to show you once again. When I had one section, it looked all good for you, right? We didn't had any problem. We saw this, it's all good, right? But if I want 2 sections, I'm expecting to divide into section A, F and G because the names, the first letters. But when I put 2 sections, I'm not getting it that way. I'm getting 14. Like Anne, Ashley, again Anne is repeated here. So if I put 3 sections, once again, now I explained this earlier, but I want to show you something interesting now, right? Now again, and stuff like that. So 3 times. Now, but still there are 3 sections. Now how about we separate in these sections, right? Before even going for multidimensional arrays, if I take you to UITableViewController, right? And if I take you to the UITableView data source, right? So there is, if I scroll down to the methods of it, right? If I scroll down to the methods, right? See, in the methods of UITableView data source, you can provide headers. So you can provide a header, right? You can provide title for the headers in the section. So I'm going to give a title. What are my titles? Actually, my titles will be, what I want is to say section A, section F, and section G. So I want to put 3 titles, right? Titles for headers in each section. Let's put that even before going to multidimensional arrays, friends. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put section headers, right? So I'm going to create for that I'm going to create a list, right? I'm going to create a list in my .h, right? So I'm going to create another array with, okay, let's say array list of, let's give something meaningful, list of section header titles. Section header titles, guys, something meaningful, right? List of section header titles. And then I'm going to go and give some values, right? Okay, so I'm going to give the values for the section headers. So now I got the 3 sections A, F, G, and then I'm going to override that method in the UI table view data source. What's that method? Title for header in section, right? Title for header in section, right? So let me go and put that method, right? So let me see whether it's already commented, right, in the auto generated methods, right? Let me see whether it's commented. What's it? Table view title for header in section, right? Let me just search by title for header, right? Let me search and see whether it's already here. Title for header. No, I'm not getting it, right? So it's not in the auto generated list of methods. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write it, and I can get the help from Xcode to figure out that method, right? So it's table view colon title for header in section. So let me try to get that method. Table view colon title, so I can see that method, right? So let me double click and get that title for header in section, guys, right? So you see it has to get created properly, so it didn't get, the syntax didn't come properly. So let me also start by this. Let me say, okay, I want to start it like a instance method, say table view. So I can see it here, guys, title for header in section, right? So let me double click it. Awesome, I got it right? Now, so again I'm getting the section number. So what I have to do is if I have 3 sections, this method will get fired 3 times. So for example, if I say I have 3, if I say I have 5 sections, this will get fired 5 times. Each time it gives me the section number. So using the section number, I can access my title, right, using the section number. So this is like the section 1, section 2, section 3, but its indexes are 0, because it's 0, 1, 2. So I can access this section header titles from this method and return the relevant header title by using this parameter section. So it will access using the parameter, it will access the relevant title, right? Okay, from my list of titles over here. So let's run and see what's going to happen now, right? So let's run this, my friends, right? So I gave that title for header in section, right? Now see, this is interesting. Now the moment I give it, you can see the 3 sections, A, so F and G, right? But still the earlier problem is there. To solve this earlier problem, I had to use the earlier trick, right? But now you know how to give section header titles. So if you want to give section header titles, make sure that you override this method. Now let's go and put back the code we applied, right? So what should I do? Instead of this, I had to pass. Okay, I took a copy of it, so it's easy. So what I have to do now is, for this number of rows in section, and also I have to change this list of names. So first of all, I have to change this into a multidimensional array, this into a multidimensional array. So I already got that over here, because I just took copy and put it out, and because I just want to do this change, guys. So now this is my multidimensional array, and then this is my next multidimensional array for the images, right, which we did earlier, my friends. Okay, and then this number of rows in section, right? So number of rows in section, I explain you this trick. Oh, hold on, not that, right? So not that, right? So number of rows in the section, I will take the code back. So it should be from the list of names, you get each section and you get the count of it. I explained this to you earlier. And then this is for the cell.text, right? I just copied it, guys, which is going to be this one, right, over here, right? I just took it away because I just wanted to show you that the other one, right? And then this one, I just took it and kept aside, right? Because we were this one, my friends, right? Awesome. So now with this, you will see that it nicely takes only the relevant stuff, right? Let me build it. Right, so I explained the code earlier, so I'm just going to run it. Now you will see how nicely it will categorize. Awesome, my friends, right? So this is that code I applied just a little while ago, right? So look at that code a couple of times for you to understand what I said. So this is how you categorize your data into sections. Awesome, my friends, right? Now let's see what's the next task. Now one more small thing. Now I have hard coded the number of sections. So I should not hard code. That also I can get dynamically, right? So what I have to say is, I can, from this list of names, or right, or rather from these titles or whatever it is, right? So I can get either the count of this, because this is where I have the section header titles, right? So what I can say is, I can say, rather than returning 3, I can say, okay, return the count of this, right? So just return the count of this array, right? So it's dynamic now, right? So this time I'm telling get the count. Let's run and see first, right? From the list of header titles, right? So number of sections, right? So now, for example, if I just showing you, right, if I remove this, right, now how many sections, what is the count? Count is 2. So there will be only 2 sections, right? There will be only 2 sections. So let's run this now, right? Because the count is 2. it shows only 2 sections, right? Same if I delete this, so and then when it takes a count of that titles, so the number of sections will be 1. So if I run this, my friends, so it will dynamically read the number of sections. So it's always good to make it dynamic, right? So you saw what I did, right? Okay, so I will put them back now, right? Let me put them back. Okay, so what are my titles, right? A, then section F, right? Then section G, right? So now the count will be 3, so it will show the 3 sections, my friends, right? Awesome, awesome. So this is a very important thing for you to keep in mind. Okay, friends, so the conclusion is we completed all these things, and what you learn as extra things is adding somewhat larger images, then adding sections, and adding section titles for section headers, right? Adding title section headers and using multidimensional arrays, right? We did some practicals. You can find the link to download source code for the projects done in this section in the relevant download section in this series, right? Awesome, my friends, right? Reference, we use Apple Developer Docs. What's next? Have a look at our other videos for practicals on table views, dynamic content, and the next lesson will be table views, dynamic content, UI table view. Because in this last couple of lessons, we did table views, dynamic content using UI table view controllers, right? But the next lesson, we are going to combine everything and do it just using UI table views, because sometimes you might have to use it, right? Okay, and have a look at our other videos in Objective-C A to Z. Also make sure to have a look at our other series on machine learning, artificial intelligence, data science and IoT, because that is the future, right? So we are very excited to meet you again in our next lesson. See you until that.